Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to another episode of Europa Rediviva. I am here interviewing my good friend Ivanka Șișeva. She's a Bulgarian from Silistra, and she is a philologist by training. She graduated both English philology and Slavic philology with a specialization in Czech. And subsequently, she moved to Bucharest, Romania, where she now lives with her family. And she is screening the Bulgarian movie nights for the past few years. We will be talking about this project further on. Welcome, Ivanka.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a
Always.
pleasure. Hello to your viewers.
Thanks a lot for coming. And I will make a bit of a longer introduction because there are many things to be said. And then I will pass the microphone over to Ivanka. So.
Don't make it too long and boring.
I'll try. So she actually is doing right now a PhD in film studies, in Czech film studies. So the events that she is organizing here in Bucharest have a lot to do with her studies and with her educational background. And let's start by asking you, why did you decide to move to Bucharest and when and how?
It was a kind of an adventure because we decided to move here with my family. My husband, my son back then was 5 years old, and it was maybe the last possible moment to move a child, to take him from one environment and to put it in another one, just before he starts school and starts getting into the world of friends and everything, and education. So that's why we decided to try this, I would say, adventurous back then. Now, from this point of view, as I look at it, it's a kind of an adventurous thing to do, but still we decided to do it. And another thing is that we've been opposing immigration for quite a long time in Bulgaria, and at some point when we were not pleased with the environment, we decided to try something different, to see how things will function on the other bank of the river.
You did not immigrate that far away.
Yes, and the idea was not to be that far away, because still more or less you have roots, you have some relatives left, and it's we've been witnessing maybe more than 15 years of our life and even more when people left almost for good. Then it was a kind of troublesome to go back to for Christmas to see the grannies and so on. We decided to solve the problem like that. We will not emigrate that far away. We will be able to go back to Bulgaria and don't lose the contacts for good. And then came the story that you introduced me with about the Bulgarian-Romanian cultural parallels, about the cinema and so on. So at the beginning we just decided, okay, we try it. Before we are 40, I don't know, whatever. To
embark on the Romanian adventure, crossing the Danube.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny because you live closer, even though you live in another country, than some Romanians who live in Bucharest and who are from, I don't know, the northern counties of Romania. They travel way more hours to get home than you do from Bucharest, so it's quite close by actually.
Yes, and another thing is that we used to live in Sofia, which was harder for us to meet with our families back then.
Because
Bucharest is much
Sofia.
closer to Silistra, so you have 30 kilometers, and
nice. And I hope that now that we are all in the Schengen area, travel will be even smoother. I heard that there are still some checks, but
there will be. I think there will be checks. Traveling wasn't difficult even back then. Maybe difficult was during the pandemic, but after that and before that, it wasn't that difficult. I would say that now the checks are more often, and they're almost every time because they check your luggage, and maybe it's normal because otherwise, crime will just flourish.
Yeah, people might bring in cigarettes and alcohol from one back to the Danube.
It's not only cigarettes. I don't know. They can do other crimes.
Maybe, yeah.
It's good to have at least the fear that you might be controlled, although you
Yeah. I'm waiting for the Silistra wall to fall, you know, like there was the Berlin Wall in 1989 that fell.
It's the river is the wall.
Yeah, there is this fence behind the last blocks of flats in Silistra towards Ostrov, towards the Romanian village of Ostrov. So there is a fence there. If you go on this road towards Constanța, but not the straight one,
yes,
the one.
Yes.
Yeah, and that you can see this fence, which divides the Romanian area from the Bulgarian area. And now, since it's Schengen, the wall needs to come down. So bring down this wall.
How long is this piece of wall?
I don't know, maybe a few hundred meters.
Okay.
But it's making it impossible for the people who live in the blocks of flats right adjacent to Ostrov, to the Romanian village of Ostrov, to cross straight into Ostrov from the back of their building. They need to go to the customs point.
Okay, so it was some kind of security measurements back then.
Back then, yeah, and now it has to come down because, for example, in Western Europe, like for example, there's this border between the Netherlands and Germany, and when it crosses through a town or very close to a town, there are many crossing points, like informal crossing points, just paths through the forest or whatever. So yeah, I'm waiting for this to happen also between Romania and Bulgaria on the land border, to be able to cross wherever. But coming back, of course, there's going to be an elaborate discussion because we will also talk about the future cultural center, the Bulgarian cultural center in Romania. But first, how did you start with the screenings? I remember I think the first screening that I was in, when you were screening them at the Hungarian Cultural Center, that was maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago?
Maybe 3.5
3.5 years ago.
Or I don't know exactly, but for 2 full years we've been screening elsewhere.
Yes. In the past 2 years, you've been screening the films at Goethe Institute, and all of the movies have a German connection to them. They are German co-productions. I had no idea that there could be so many German-Bulgarian co-productions that you could fill years of screenings with them, but apparently there's quite a strong collaboration in this sense. And
to me, either was a surprise because I didn't know that there are so many co-productions between Bulgaria and Germany, and it turned out that Germany or German funds are one of the main sponsors of contemporary Bulgarian cinema. Probably like the same thing you have here with French cinema and culture. Yeah. A lot of Romanian-French co-productions also. Only that Bulgarian cinematographic field has decided, or maybe it was easier for them to find German support, because as you know, Romanian and French are much closer than Bulgarian and French. There's a historical Bulgarian-German connection. All throughout the 20th century. So that was one of the triggers. But maybe we could go back, because you asked me how the idea came up, how we started. We started at one of the Hungarian cultural houses, because there are actually 2 or 3.
Well, actually, that Hungarian cultural house is the cultural house for the Hungarian minority in Bucharest.
In Bucharest,
it has nothing to do with the embassy. There's another cultural center that has to do with the embassy. Yeah.
Exactly. So we were kind of accommodated there through acquaintances, but we knew at the very beginning that it is a compromise. Starting with the screenings in the Hungarian house. So, but maybe to start from the beginning. The beginning is that we come here 7 years ago now, and all of a sudden we pass by the emblematic building of Hanul Solacolu, which is related to Bulgarian history very, very much. Still, and it's one of the last buildings that's left with some Bulgarian and Romanian roots that are all together.
Probably the best such building is the one in Ploiești. Hagi Prodan House is the best preserved from the 18th century.
In Bucharest. I don't have that much of architecture experience as you do. So, and then I just said to myself, okay, there must be a cultural center, and we will just go talk to the people who are in charge, managers, whatever the team there, and we will find out what are the Bulgarian, let's say, events, or how is contemporary Bulgarian culture represented in Bucharest. Because we know the minorities. We know that there are a lot of minorities of all types of. There is not only Bulgarian minority, although it's kind of vibrant still in these lands, which are the southern lands of Romania, but the northern.
Also Banat, Catholic
Banat it's a historical, it's another moment, but they went through to Banat from Serbia because they were bordering Serbia and Bulgaria.
Really?
So for them, it was very easy to get that the line next to the Serbian border and just go up and reach Arad and Banat.
Yeah.
So back then part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So that's another. But there are different Bulgarian minorities here. There is one in Izvoarele.
In Giurgiu County, I think, or in Teleorman.
Teleorman, exactly, here. And they claim that they're even before the Banatian community.
Might be.
Maybe, I don't know.
There was a strong Bulgarian immigration into Romania or Wallachia as it was then in the early 1800s. This was
exactly
mass migration.
After the riot of Chiprovtsi, which is in 1680 something, after that period and after that contract Küçük Energy.
Küçük Energy was in the late 1700s, I
exactly,
think.
1774, I think, or 5. Okay, 4, that's my memory. So after that...
Küçük Energy is like right in Dobrogea, southern Dobrogea. It's on the border crossing point.
There is still a kind of a folk monument. You can go there, drink water. It's commemorating the battles and... Okay, so after that treaty, it was easier for for Bulgarians to move between the Ottoman Empire and Wallachia, because they were, so to say, as Orthodox, they were already they were protected by the Russian emperor. That was written in the treaty back then. So that was the idea. Anyway, it became easier for gardeners, for great merchants like the Evlogi brothers, who came 1850, after 1850s. So it was good land for Bulgarians to come and do things here. So anyway, that's the brackets. A lot of minorities are here, but they came 200 or 300 or 100 and I don't know how many years ago. So they have their tradition, their folklore tradition, plus some of their rituals that they do, some religious, some folk, and that's one story. But contemporary Bulgarian culture was not, I would say back then, at all here present in the cultural market, let's say.
Bulgaria doesn't have a cultural center like other countries do, like the Czech cultural center, the Polish cultural center.
And there were some initiatives that were organized by the embassy, plus some partners, but most of them were on official holidays, and they have to involve the minorities, the different Bulgarian, I would call them different Bulgarian minorities, because there is one in Constanța, which is, they have some kind of an organization. There's quite elderly women. In Târgoviște there is a Bulgarian community. In Izvoarele, Teleorman, as I told you. Also in Vinga and Dudești Vechi, also they are very...
I think one in Popeș-le-Odeni, right? They're also Bulgarian Catholics.
In Ciopla is a neighborhood right now.
Ciopla is like Dristor area.
Yeah, it's a neighborhood, but there was also great Catholic community. Anyway, all these communities, they protect their... some of them speak Bulgarian mixed with Romanian. Some of them, like the Banatian, they have their special language that's written in Latin but uses a lot of Bulgarian vocabulary, but they also use a lot of Hungarian or German and of course Romanian vocabulary. So it's a kind of a mixture, but still a language that they use in their families. Anyway, all these minorities, all these groups of Bulgarians, they are represented or they have to be protected by local organizations and of course the Bulgarian embassy.
Yeah.
And there is not much place left for the contemporary Bulgarian culture that needs a hall, an exhibition hall. For example, a hall where you can screen films or play some kind of a theater that doesn't involve huge props. But contemporary culture, like in an exhibition, a screening, or a small concert of 3 or 4 people, is not very much present. People are coming for different festivals. For example, musicians, they travel, they collaborate with Romanian musicians, but they come without being officially represented here, without huge announcements. For example, that the jazz players from blah 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 will come, they will have a concert or so.
Yeah, sure. It would be nice to have a one-stop shop, an institution where you can always check, like, okay,
at least check
what's on the Bulgarian Cultural Center tonight, you know. But there's no such place, just temporary venues and.
I wouldn't even say there are temporary venues. As I told you, they follow some kind of folklore traditions that they try to abide, they try to keep and cherish, which is great. They even I visited even an exhibition of old folklore costumes from Banat this summer in Muzeul Țăranului.
Yes,
there are different
the Village Museum,
yes, in the Village Museum, but contemporary culture as it is, it's not really represented, and we decided that it would be easier, or the easiest way would be with a screening, because it's not that money consuming. Time consuming also, because if you have to organize a group of people that are coming, you have to book them a hotel, organize the hall, and then you have to guarantee for the audience. And in such cases, we were unable, we didn't know who is going to come, who would like to come. And it was a trial and error. And we found out that during this process, because we started screening Bulgarian films for Bulgarians, which is a nonsense, you know.
This is what I wanted to point out. So your initial audience was only Bulgarian.
We didn't aim at that. We wanted to somehow to show pieces, because you cannot show the whole culture itself.
No, of course.
But pieces of contemporary Bulgarian culture through cinema to the audience here. And we started. We didn't know that it was, we found out that it's more valuable and precious to attract the audience of Bucharest, not the Bulgarian
not the
audience, not the diaspora, not the Bulgarian who come here, who live here, regardless if they're from a minority that established here 200 years ago or just came last year as an economic immigrant. So that was our point, that it's better to try to attract all types of people, to raise a debate, to talk about, to share cultures. And another thing is that we needed a decent venue, because you've been to that house and you know it's...
No, I'm not a specialist, so for me that was okay as well.
It was okay, but a lot of things were compromises, like the sound system, the projector. So we decided to move on. And when there is this saying, when something bad happens, it happens for the good.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
Yeah, and exactly, every cloud has a silver lining, and that was the point, that at that Hungarian house things were not going as smooth as we would. They were not going smooth at all. So that's how we tried to find another venue. And this is how we got to become partners with the Goethe Institute Bucharest, which is, we are very thankful to them because they opened to this initiative. It's not easy to
I can imagine.
host such a...
And now it's already a tradition. I mean, probably your screenings are one of the projects that has the most continuity among the Goethe Institute projects, because they have these temporary exhibitions, but something regular that happens every month, like your Bulgarian screenings.
I think they have regular initiatives in their program, like jazz concerts, and we screen in the exhibition hall, so there is always an exhibition in the hall. But the whole idea of this event is not, at the beginning it was probably okay to get it in a real cinema, or to make it really, because in real cinemas you have professional sounds, walls have a special coating over, so that a lot of things. But if it's in such a cinema, then we would lose from the initiative that we are doing, which is actually meeting people, socializing.
Because there's the strong socializing part in the beginning of the event and in the end.
And for 60 people, it's much easier to get them to talk to each other, to socialize, to meet them, to even do some networking for them, or they can meet each other, or just discuss or raise the debate. Okay, this film looks like a Bulgarian or German or whatever other film that I saw with the same topic. And so that's how we ended up at Goethe Institute. They are great partners, by the way, because you can never have surprises, unpleasant surprises.
German regularity.
You go there,
works.
The hall is set, you know who you work with. You cannot be left without a projector, or without sound, or without chairs, or the hall is always air conditioned and warm enough. Mm-hmm. And another thing is that it's a kind of civilized. You have a time where you go, and you have a time where you leave.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to continue, there are enough places in Bucharest Friday evening.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would say this is a very refined way to have these screenings that are a little bit small scale, comparing to some. I go to screenings all the time in Bucharest, so there are some huge ones, like 200 people go to watch a Romanian premiere.
Of course, but having Bulgarian films screened in Bucharest is a bit of a niche thing, right? Because unfortunately, Romanians don't know enough about Bulgarians, and there's not that much exposure to Bulgarian culture, so that people become curious and seek such events on their own. So I think you're doing a very good job being an ambassador, a cultural ambassador of your country, screening these films and showing Romanians what Bulgarian culture is like. Because, many Romanians have gone to the seaside in Bulgaria in the past years. Maybe they visited cities. Maybe some of them have visited museums. But to actually see contemporary Bulgarian cinematography, this is something that probably Romanians could not even do in Bulgaria, because it would be hard to find such a venue.
Then they have the problem with the subtitles.
Of course, there would be no English subtitles or something like this. So
Romanian there will be no, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Sometimes even English won't be.
Yeah.
And just to bracket that, Romanian cinema, I think, it's worldwide more popular and famous and known than Bulgaria, and that is why we know. If you are a Bulgarian that watches artistic films, you know
Romanian,
you know all the Romanian directors. Okay, not all, but at least you've seen a film by Cristi Puiu, by Cristian Mungiu, and some Radu Jude. I mean, you know those people because they've been to
the festivals.
And because they had panoramas in Bulgaria. Due to the fact that they were renowned in world festivals, they had panoramas in Bulgaria, so we know them. Yeah. At least we know what topics, at least, now we are not going to indulge in an analysis of Romanian cinema, but we have some
tropes, let's say, some.
We have some idea. We have
some, like, common, points.
Whereas here, a lot of people don't know almost anything. They know almost nothing about Bulgarian cinema. So some names like Comandare for somebody who was...
For me, I was completely clueless. Like, for me, I just liked Bulgaria, and seeing these films, if I can make a comment, of course, I'm not educated in cinematography or something like this, but my subjective impression is that Romanian cinematography, Romanian contemporary cinematography, is aimed at the jury of the festivals. So these Romanian directors don't make these movies having in mind the Romanian audience and how the Romanian public could relate. They have in mind the jury at the Berlin Festival, the Paris Festival, and so on, the Cannes Festival. Whereas, how I see Bulgarian cinematography, it's a completely subjective opinion, but it's very humanistic. It's very... it has this personal touch, and I think it's very empathic towards Bulgarians. It's not like trying to show Bulgaria in a certain light for the foreign audiences. It is addressing directly to the Bulgarian audience. This is my feeling. I mean, I was struck by how humane the Bulgarian films are, and how empathic and
Maybe you're right. We are reflecting more or less what happens, because it's a kind of a... Just let me get something straight, that not all Bulgarian films are... I mean, there are films and films. Of course, in Bulgaria, we also have these line of films that mimic more or less Hollywood
films,
or other good blockbusters. Mm-hmm. So when we try to make the selection, we try to on purpose exclude those films, because what the idea here is to put the stress on something that's
original.
A little bit, that's original, that's a kind of unique for us. Mm-hmm. And maybe that is why you have this feeling, because all of the films that we've put into these two selections already are ones that mirror our...
they're a form of self-reflection.
Yes, a kind of self-reflection. Now I think of different titles that we screened, but yes.
But for example, the movie about the band Jubilee, or what was that?
This is a Hollywood mimicking film.
But still, it was really good. It was,
story,
I mean, probably the trope was a general trope that might have been used in American films and stuff.
Yeah, the Zhiguli.
Exactly. It had a very, very nice Bulgarian vibe.
The ugly truth about the band Zhiguli, something like that.
Very good film. Comedy, very good.
Yeah,
I like. I'm not a professional, but I love this.
Yeah, it's a kind of a you leave the hall with some kind of joy and pleasure. Whereas most of the films that we show, they don't make you laugh. Most of them. For example, the last film was, I would say, rather tough.
Yeah, the ambulance.
The Sophia's Last Ambulance. But it was a film that was shot for 4 years. It was a social experiment. How would these doctors, this medical crew react in very tough situations? Because even if they had camera and somewhere hidden in the car, they couldn't act for the camera because they have to save lives. Even if they act, even if they are kind of tempted to say something that's okay, I'm in they don't do, probably they don't do it that often because they don't know what part will be included. It's 4 years.
Of course.
And the film is 70 minutes.
It was very raw. It was just
exactly
the raw experiences of these people and the raw expressions.
Another film that was very typical was that German lessons that we started. German lessons that we started about the incapability of a family to communicate, and such topics that are very by the way, they're also in the Romanian New Wave, and it's not called Romanian New Wave, but the directors that started. So more or less the topics are not that different, but it's important the form, it's important some typical details that represent these type of nation or community.
Yeah. And tell us more about Hanu Solacolu, the history behind this project, and how you envisage that it might become one day a Bulgarian cultural center in Bucharest.
So the Hanu Solacolu was the first thing that led to the screenings. So the first thing I saw when I came here, of course, when I moved here, I was still finishing my work for an international film festival in Bulgaria. So I was, by the time we settled here, I finished the job for them. And then I was free enough to notice the Hanu Solacolu and its
derelict state.
Yeah, very derelict
Did you
state.
know already that it was linked to Bulgarian history? Because there were so many revolutionaries in Wallachia, in Bucharest, that I guess there are many buildings that could be traced to them, to Hristo Botev. I don't know if Vasilevsky was also here in Bucharest, but there were quite a lot of Bulgarian revolutionaries from the Renaissance period. And is Hanu Solacolu known in Bulgaria as an emblematic building, or?
Yeah, it's a the question that you are asking me is a very multi-layered and complicated, because first I would say that we Bulgarians are not really aware of what is. Of course, there are organizations. Some people know that historically more or less competent about different historical buildings and monuments abroad. But to be honest, we have difficulties keeping our own
of course,
ones,
we have
like you
problem.
do.
Yeah.
And another thing is that as you introduced me as a philologist, and the truth is that I studied Bulgarian literature and history of Bulgarian literature, to be more precise, almost 4 and something years. So I never remember being mentioned the Hanu Solacolu in Bulgaria while I was a student. Also, other architectural important buildings. I don't remember. Okay, we were studying writers who wrote what. Okay,
Maybe the Bulgarian Academy that was started in
Yes, the Bulgarian Academy that was started in Brăila. A lot of revolutionaries went to study in Bucharest, or they emigrated, or they
had these.
They had
press. They had newspapers.
Yes, the newspaper. Luben Karavelov, for example, he is also very. He's a Serbian literary guy also.
Oh.
He's not only, he was fluent in Serbian, and before he moved to Bucharest, he came from Belgrade. So, I didn't know about these buildings. I studied exactly this period of the rebirth of Bulgarian language and culture, which is
the period.
Exactly. It's not exactly the Renaissance. It's a kind of, what would it be, Enlightenment or something that's related to our culture, because Renaissance historically.
Of course, it was a previous cultural period.
Anyway, because of the Ottoman Empire, in Bulgarian academia, people speak about postponed Renaissance, but that's. Another hypothesis that
for another episode when we get into the depths of.
I didn't know about these monuments, and when I came here in Bucharest, I started discovering every day there are some Bulgarian traces. You meet people, you speak Bulgarian, and then all of a sudden somebody comes from somewhere and says, "What language are you speaking?" And you say, "Bulgarian." "Oh, it sounds very beautiful. You know, my great-grandmother or my grandmother or my grandfather is from Tulcha, or is from Bulgaria, or is from Svishtov, or is from somewhere." So I started noticing these parallels, and it's a kind of a trauma that we were so closed.
Yeah.
But I don't know why was that. Maybe it was because of, you cannot say it was because of socialism, but it was because of political issues that we were unable to cross the border and share. That's for sure, because people from Giurgiu couldn't go to Russia just like that. So this, in my opinion, impeded or slowed down this cultural exchange between the two nations, between the two countries. We find every day common words. We find common history periods. And
you brought us the vegetables, not only the plants themselves, but also the names for them. And you brought us da.
Plus, we took words from Romania. For example, they were from Latin, but they came to Bulgarian from Romania.
You were saying căruță or caleșcă or
căruță, and other words. That's not the only word. There are, so it's an exchange of cultures and nations. You cannot say you took everything from us, or
you took everything from us,
or we took, or we gave you everything. So that was my whole point. That if we get to know each other, if we can share the culture in a peaceful way that wouldn't evoke any emotions. Who is bigger than who? You know, Bulgaria used to be an empire, but that was 10 centuries ago.
Of course.
What can I do now? I can be proud that I inhabit a land that's full of history, but that's it. It's different history, it's different culture now. We live.
You're not an imperialist.
I am very proud, you know. For example, I'm very proud that the oldest processed gold in the world right now is at Palatul Suțu, and it can be seen until the end of March. It's the gold treasure from the Varna necropoli, and this is the oldest processed gold that was found until now.
And this was from which period? The early Bronze
Age,
or
you got me unprepared here, but I have to. I don't know how many thousand years ago.
Before the Odrysian kingdoms, I guess, right? Or maybe during the Odrysian kingdoms, yeah. Anyway,
it was before Christianity
of course,
so much earlier.
Yeah.
And you can go see it. It's
brave of the Bulgarian state that it brought its gold to Romania, because nowadays these artifacts get stolen. But
even the Louvre was stolen. So
even the Louvre,
nobody is protected. We don't know about our monuments. We don't know about our inheritance abroad. So I think it's a good thing to do, to meet people through contemporary culture so that they can remember, they can reflect, they can find a book, take it out, have a look at something, try to compare the two cultures. You know, as a person that graduated Slavic studies and Bulgarian culture and literature, there were some people that used to say there is no Romanian language. It's based on, they used to write in Cyrillic until the 19th century. Yes, but that's another language.
And we used to have Middle Bulgarian as an official language for most of the Middle Ages.
But still, it's a development of a language, and it has its historical.
Romanian, of course, was the spoken language.
So this type of talks are totally futile. We don't need them. I mean, we need to try to rediscover. And now we go back to the Hanul Solacolo. I haven't lost my mind, because it was the first thing. It was the spark that led us to the screening, and during all this time, we were shooting a film about the Hanul Solacolo, documenting what is happening with the inn. And that was another spark. When I saw the building in such a devastated state, I said to myself, okay, we go ask the Bulgarian Cultural Center. It turned out there is no such. Okay, then, you know what? We explore the building, and we will make interviews with all the people involved. Recently, we cannot find people from 200 years ago.
Of course, yeah.
It's a joke. It's less than 200 is the building was built in 1858, I think.
Right on time for the Bulgarian revolutionaries to come.
Exactly. And after that, the diaspora just returned back to Bulgaria. Most of the Bulgarians that were here, because Bulgaria didn't exist. But anyway, and this is how we started with the building. We started asking. First, it was just the Bulgarian community. Mm-hmm. People from the diaspora who knew the building, who have been in the building because it was
Back when it was
no,
still
even
standing.
not back, because even when it was falling apart,
Okay.
or for example, that knew the relative, the owners, the Solacolo family.
Ah, so the inn is still in the possession of the
No. That we started exploring. So we met with people from the Bulgarian diaspora who knew the Solacolo family that back then were the owners of the building. Now
So
it's the
back
ministry.
then in the before communism, or
Before communism, what we know before communism is that it was functioning as a apartment building hotel.
like a hostel.
I would say it's considered to be the first apartment building in Bucharest that was
really?
designed as an apartment building, not as a hanul.
Ah, okay.
You don't go there just to sleep, but you go there, you can live with your family. It's not like Manuk, you enter with the Marfa, with the goods. It was just, you can go and live there. And there was a pasta factory, also, one of the first ones here in in southern Romania. And we started exploring the story. So, after that, during the socialistic period, it was, I don't know how it's called in Romania, I don't know, I'll try to find the explanation in English. When a building is owned by the state and
it is leased out to somebody, it has tenants.
Yes, you have tenants. You can, and they're actually not tenants because they pay very little, and these are people who don't have, let's say, an apartment, who cannot afford. So you put them there, and there was some other schemes. I am not exactly very.
It was a form of social housing, maybe.
Social housing, but also another thing is that they were
squatting. Squatting came afterwards, after the revolution.
Yes, but they were there. They were accommodating thousands of people.
Ah, really? So it was like a mass. Okay.
Sometimes
I
just for an address, or sometimes they live there. Okay. And for example, I had a I had 1 hour interview with one of the Solacolo family. And he explained over there that it was very tough for his family because they grew up in this building.
And they were evicted by the communists.
They were evicted, and then after the socialist period,
they tried to take it back.
They took it back, but it took years.
Yeah.
And by the time it was theirs, it was derelict already. And another thing is that it was full of rubbish.
Yeah.
When the Roma minority, let's be politically correct, were evicted too, because it was given again, repossessed by the Solacolo family, the building. They, according to one of the family, they burned out everything there, and they made such a havoc before they leave. And that's why we have the dumpster of Bucharest. When they started, they couldn't even renovate it. It's not renovated, it's just cleaned. And they keep on cleaning rubbish from the basement. I don't know if you know, but these were tons of trash.
And it has no more roof, right? It's just the
now
outer
it has.
walls.
They are doing some. To be honest, I didn't believe at some point, but it's happening. It's totally secured.
Yeah.
And now it can remain like that until the international competition. Hopefully, the international competition about what the building, who will renovate, what the building will look like, is not going to happen in 10 years.
Sure.
Because the securement won't hold that for that long, but it's an unprecedented what they've done.
And right now the building is owned by the municipality, right?
Exactly.
It was taken over by the municipality from the Solacolo family.
Yes, it was taken over. They probably were reimbursed, but it's never enough because it's a very old building. And another thing is that if you inherit...
And it is a listed building, so it is part
exactly,
of
it's
the Romanian
historical,
heritage.
Yes, it's a historical monument. And if you have a historical monument, if you own it, you have to take care of it as a historical monument.
Yeah, exactly.
It means you cannot make a shop with whatever or a hotel. You have to follow some regulations, how to...
Yeah, there are strict guidelines how to use such monuments.
How to renovate, how to use it, which parts you cannot touch, which part can be changed, altered a bit. So, and we reached to the point when we took some interviews with, like the current president of the...
The former mayor of Bucharest,
the former mayor,
which my audience, of course, loves, and I love too, from the bottom of my heart. Yes.
But to be honest, I don't know about other things.
It's fine. You can say good things about him.
I mean about this administration, that I was in very close contact with them while shooting the film, because I needed permission, because I wanted also to see the Romanian perspective. The Bulgarian perspective was a PR action. Oh, you see, the Bulgarian government does nothing, and the Romanian government does nothing, and nobody does nothing. And now the building is in such a devastated state. It looks awful. Oh, shame on us. And this doesn't work.
It was just a self-flagellation, like we're so bad.
Yeah. And the neighbors too are not that good. You know, that's the second line. We are bad, but they did nothing.
It was a competition of who's the worst.
And that is why I wanted to have those people say their word in the film. The ambassador, the former mayor, current president, the family, because I think they suffered the most. The family.
Well, they were reimbursed. Historically, yes.
Historically, this building that was their property was taken from them, and from architects I know it was a really unique building for its time, with decoration, with the whole project and idea, because there are other buildings before that like Hanu Manuk, but it's much older. It's 30 years older than Solakolwin. It's in the beginning of...
Hanului Manuk Inn is from the...
1820s, something like, or 30s.
No, because the Peace of Bucharest after the Russo-Turkish War of 1812 was signed there. So in 1812 the Hanului Manuk existed already.
The beginning of the 19th century.
1800s, late 1700s.
The first decade or somewhere.
Yeah. Whereas you said the Hanu Solacol was from the 1850s?
Yes. So it's completely different. It was rather new for its very beautiful building. That's what I know.
I guess it had less Ottoman influence and more French eclectic influence.
I don't know. You're a specialist in architecture.
I don't know, because now it's just a wall, so it's hard.
Now it's just a wall, but and another thing is, it was difficult to find good pictures, old pictures. In archives. It was,
And now the plan is to restore it as it was, I guess, right? Not to give it some sort of modern...
As close as it possible to what it was. But for now, we, as an organization, we participate in the working group of the municipality. But I don't know what is the involvement.
You said there's going to be a tender at some point.
There's going to be a tender, but now there are some administrative documents that go from one commission to another, and it takes time. So, and another thing is the political environment here and in Bulgaria, which is not very stable.
So the proposed outcome will be some sort of Bulgarian-Romanian collaboration to make a cultural center?
Yeah, that's what we wrote in the project. We don't know. There might be other projects. We don't know. We might just turn out to be rivals with the Bulgarian embassy, but probably we won't. But our idea was to be a Romanian Bulgarian, because if you go... It's not your country. It's not your country. It's not your building. The building is not owned by the Bulgarian state.
Sure.
It's owned by the Bucharest municipality. It's not owned by the Sofia municipality. So in this, I'm just speculating that in this sense you have to be willing to collaborate with the locals too.
Well, it just so happens that just like your first screenings were in the Hungarian Cultural Center of the Hungarian community of Bucharest, and there is also this other German Cultural Institute of the German minority in Bucharest. There might be perhaps, just like there is the Hristo Botev High School of the supposedly of the Bulgarian community of Bucharest, maybe this Hannu Solacolu project might become the cultural center of the Bulgarian community in Bucharest. So to be analogous to the Hungarian and the German cultural centers under the supervision of the municipality, so of the community here in Bucharest.
Yes, but another thing is that the Bulgarian embassy participates in this
so then
negotiations because it's a historical monument that's important for both the neighboring countries. For example, for Romania, it's an important industrial building. It is related to one of the first, I am not sure if it's the first or one of the first pasta factories.
Okay, sure, but I think Bulgarian revolutionaries are more important than pasta.
I'm just telling you because you cannot say to a Romanian, here the Bulgarian revolutionary lived. And he will say, who is that? We have other revolutionaries.
We have pasta.
No, I'm just telling you that historically, architecturally, in terms of architecture, it's an important building as it is. In terms
for industrial heritage as well, you're saying?
Exactly. From our point of view, from Bulgarian perspective, it's a very important building because it's the last building, or at least the remnants of it, that is related, that has some Bulgarian traces that can be followed. Before that, there were other. Since the Bulgarian minority living here was much larger during the Ottoman Empire, after the Ottoman Empire, these people, they just came back to their homeland. It's normal. I mean,
the Solacolu family, even though it has a last name which sounds a bit Turkish because of the Olu suffix.
Olu sounds Turkish because
it's Oglu, no?
Oglu, it's the English way. Otherwise, they were never Oglu.
So the Bulgarian name of the Solacolu family was...
would be Solakovi.
Solakov. Mm-hmm.
So, and this is one of the last buildings that can be traced back to Bulgarian revival period. There, a little bit further is the office of the Evlogi and Hristo Gheorghevi brothers.
I didn't know that.
Just a little bit further on Kalamoshilor in the direction of Lipskani, going to Lipskani, just again on the same left side. But it's one thing to have rich merchants that were Russian citizens and never seen a rifle. I don't say they haven't done great things.
They sponsored
even the Ateneo, the Sofia University, so many things. They have at the cemetery Belu, they have the
mausoleums.
They have the Evlogi brothers. But when you have revolutionaries, when you say Hristo Botev, when you say Levski, and then Luben Karavelov, and when you get this whole building with the idea of the revival and the revolutionary revival of a country,
it would be great.
It's different and it's heavier than to have the office of two merchants and a lawyer.
More impact.
Exactly.
But the office of these merchants, does it have some sort of cultural destination now?
No, it's again owned by the municipality. There were some talks for the Karlovo municipality in Bulgaria, which is the town of Vasilevsky, maybe a decade ago, probably, but now you should just go there. Oh, actually, I know that it has to be restored, and the other name they have for this building is the Polish Inn. I don't know why. Maybe at some later period it became related to the Polish community here.
Maybe also through the Russian Empire, because it was Congress Poland back then. So, yeah.
So it should also be restored at some point, but I don't know. To be honest, I haven't looked how it is developing right now. As for the Hanu Solacolo, that's what I know. And it was a kind of a nobody believed that a non-governmental organization can do something. But when I came here, because in Bulgaria it's much more difficult, believe me, to be an NGO without any strings and protections and to do things.
Yeah, to be an NGO without receiving money from abroad.
Or from everywhere. I mean, to receive your money in an honest way and to use them for that thing. Not to write a project because you have a project or financing, but to finance your own idea, which you think is valuable.
To start
and
from
precious,
the idea, not from the
dear
source.
money. Yeah, let's finance.
We have this financing line, and that's
exactly. Yeah. And I just gathered courage when I came here for the film, because it's a passion of mine, cinema. But that is when you are somewhere in a different environment, that's not yours. When you're a foreigner, you have the freedom to do things without being worried about the prejudices you are going to be piled up with.
And you become energized just because it's difficult.
Exactly.
Foreign environment, foreign language. You have to.
Yeah, I had to go to libraries 5-6 years ago, and I fought so much I couldn't understand the word. And I was, taking this Potra, George Potra. What was the other guy that also wrote about old Bucharest in the 30s, in the 20s? So I was going there.
Constantin Bacalbașa, maybe.
No, they both were George. One was Potra. They were architects.
Okay.
So these architects, you have this tradition here that architects just record the state of the city, and then in 50 years later they do that, and you see that some streets change, some buildings disappear. These books are very interesting. You have a tradition with that here. So that's how the story of Hanu Solacolo evolved. And the more people were telling us, you shouldn't do that. Why would you do that? You don't know the culture. You have no idea. Shoot a film. Why?
The people putting you down were giving you energy to continue.
Yeah. And I was thinking that now that they're speaking that, they don't realize that in 5 years, what we would have shot will be a document.
Yeah.
High definition document of how the building looked like.
And I'm waiting for it to be screened in festivals, because it
I
will
will
be
see. I
probably
don't know
festival
if
quality.
it's going to be that deep, the story. We will try. We started with the idea 10-minute film. Short. Now probably we have extended to 60
It's gonna
something.
be a feature film,
Yeah, we've extended to 60 something with the director, and now we are currently. Another thing that I didn't expect, because people were telling me it might just take longer than you think, and I was like, oh come on, how longer than I think? Now it's been 5 years.
And it's probably gonna be a few more years, right?
No, a few more months. We're done.
With the film.
With the film.
But the Hanu Solacolo project.
Solacolo, maybe I don't know, maybe my son will be grown up enough to take his girlfriends over there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Who knows? But it's gonna take time. It's a very long and complicated process, and regardless of all the political connotations that any administration has, I realize that it's impossible in politics to remain untouched. So I would say that regarding this topic, this problem, this issue, the administration did their job.
I'm glad to hear. I'm always glad to hear positive things.
Probably they might have done better. Probably it might have been quicker. But I know them. I know some of the architects, some of the managers, some of the directors of commissions, and I know that they work. And I know it's a hard thing. And I know there are a lot of obstacles. For example, you have, this huge sheet it's like a sheet, çarşaf. It's not a sheet of paper with all the plans. You have to submit them somewhere, wait 5 months to get returned, to get it back stamped. So
it's a
it
complicated
takes time.
process.
It takes a lot of time.
But I wish you all the best. I wish you good luck with Hanusul acolo, and hopefully in a few years' time, maybe not a decade, maybe less than a decade, we will have a Bulgarian cultural center there for the people of Bucharest to explore Bulgarian culture.
But as I told you, it cannot be only Bulgaria. It's gonna be very hard. It's a Romanian building.
It's gonna be the Bulgarian-Romanian, but we have Romanian culture everywhere else, so might as well have Bulgarian in that spot, which is so linked to the Bulgarian traditions.
The policy of the Romanian state is different regarding cultural centers. I mean, you can find a Romanian cultural center even here.
Yes.
Downtown Bucharest, you have a Romanian cultural center.
We have the Embassy of Romania in Bucharest. We have the Romanian Cultural Center of Bucharest. Yeah. Thank you very much for this nice talk and for telling my audience about this lovely project. Please tell my audience where they can find you. What's the name of the NGO? Where are these films screened?
The films are screened every month at the Goethe Institute. We can be found on, we have a Facebook page.
Which I don't have anymore.
It's the name is a bit strange. I don't know how it sounds to Romanian people. You're gonna tell me. OrașulReel Foundation is the name, and the idea was to have the city and then the film reels.
Yeah, and in Bulgarian you have Gradski Rolki.
Gradski Rolki. Yeah. So every month we screen at Goethe Institute. Our next screening is on the 13th, then again on the 13th, February and March. So we can be found on the site, on the Goethe Institute site also as a cultural program, and we function as Bulgaria-Germany screenings co-production. There is one film and it says below Bulgaria, Germany.
Okay, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being on my show. Guys, if you'd like to support my work, you'll find the link in the description of the channel how to do that. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and until next time, thank you very much and have a good evening.